Welcome, friends. I'm recording this workshop. Hello, hello. I'm recording this workshop, so I wanted to give a little housekeeping. I'll be sending a link to everyone who registered so they can watch even if they can't make it live today. But FYI, your names won't show up in the recording, but your faces will show up in little Zoom squares on the side. I also plan to offer it for sale in the future to people who connect with me. So if you know anybody that missed it today, they can hit me up and it will be available in the future. You're welcome to share out loud during the time, and it'll be obvious. I'll prompt when that time is. And you're also welcome to type questions in the chat, which I hope I've devised an effective system for being able to see this and share screen and all that. So do pipe in if there's anything technical also going wrong, because of course the robots are always monkeying around with things here. Sound, signal, anything I can do, I'm happy to pause and make that work. And I think that's it. I'm going to get started. Welcome everyone to this workshop called How to Finally Take the Leap. It was inspired because so many people I was talking to lately are not only fed up with their jobs working for others, they're also tired of putting off the business or creative project they've been dreaming of. So I wanted to host a space where you could give that idea a little breathing room, some air, and really take time to consider specifically what would it take to make it into your full-time revenue. And most importantly, decide, am I going to pick it up or put it down? Because there is a mental burden to moving through your days, wondering if where you are is where you should be. I want you to be free of that uncertainty by the end of this call. And I will not have any judgment for you. It is a fine idea, if it is not for you, to just say, I am staying in my W-2 job. That is a win to me. Just the clarity is a win to me. With no more punishment for I haven't done it, I still haven't done it. When am I finally going to do it? I want you to be free of that. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But if it is for you, I want to also open up the channels for this is the moment. You've taken the time to show up here and watch this video if you're in the replay, and you're willing. It took some courage to say, I'm willing even just to entertain this question. So what I know about inertia and momentum is it's very hard to like start the thought process, but once it's moving, it gets to move a little bit more. So that's what I think is available in this next 45 minutes-ish together. And I'm so excited to bring you through what I think is the most essential pieces to have in place so that you can make a big jump, like moving into full-time entrepreneurship. So all of you have some seed of a business idea. Some of you have even taken action to build it. Either way, there's a mental chasm to leap when you think of leaving your paycheck job and earning all your money from your own business. So leap day, make the leap. I thought it was a great time to consider the courage it's going to take and really validate that it is a big deal, but it is not insurmountable. And what I know you'll see by the end of this time is that the questions can be answered. So there are 3 things I think you need to make a shift like that. And I'm going to get to those right after we tee this up. So first of all, what I know already is you're really good at what you do, because people who are not good at what they do don't think about starting their own businesses. But you don't always like your job. Some of you are meh, okay with it, and some of you are some degree of miserable. but I want to just have you acknowledge what is and weigh that against going out on your own and wondering if it's worth the risk. Will it ever be my time to build a business of my own? This is a question I have conversations with people about kind of all the time. They love to tell me that there's something they've been thinking about, but only certain few actually take action. So here's my moment of opportunity for you. So a little bit about me. I help business owners create peace and profit by aligning their business with their authentic self. I want to tell you a little bit about my story. Some of you I know already, but probably haven't heard this story the way I'm going to tell it here. And of course, there's many ways to tell this story, but I'm going to give you the high level synopsis of Little Mae to Big Mae. So first, I was born in DC, and I am the youngest daughter of three kids, daughter of Chinese immigrants, Taiwan and China. They both came out of Chinese Civil War, pre-Mao communism era, escaping to Taiwan, that kind of story. And that gave me a certain perspective on what it means to be successful, what it means to survive, what it means to be safe. And I'll tell you, all of it did not include starting your own business. So this journey that I've been on, it's been super important for my healing, and which is why I'm so excited to help more people be on their journey too. So for college, I went to undergrad at UC Berkeley, and I loved architecture school. I loved design thinking, which I think I still use, and communal learning is the studio kind of model for architecture school. And the way I think it's relevant to all of my businesses actually, is that I can see things before they're built. And I can do that when people tell me about their business ideas. I can see it all. I can see it all working like a machine for happiness and money. So Big Mae made 3 different businesses over 25 years. I did work briefly at a nonprofit housing developer. I became a licensed architect, still have that license, and I still love design. I still coach a lot of design businesses because that process is really fun for me. I also was a community organizer. I did work in the affordable housing realm in the nonprofit world, and I also did work with youth. These are some of the youth there in the middle, East Oakland, Cambodian refugee families. Then there was a moment where I started a family, and I started a business called Ruby's Garden. It was a kids clothing boutique. I used the aesthetics and the physical space for brick and mortar. So I still have a real love for brick and mortar. So this is a bit more about how Ruby's Garden was the place where I really learned most of what I teach on today, is that the more I tried to perform store the way other people performed it, the more I was not happy, and I didn't understand it. Like, was an academic exercise, but the more I tuned into, wait a second, I get to do this exactly the way I want to, and store is like sort of just a premise for the interactions of the customers. But really what I learned is it's all about developing my community. So that it was a neighborhood store in my own neighborhood was a really beautiful kind of layering of people coming together, and they were sort of my people on many different layers. But what I really loved was the store became a premise for everyone finding each other, and the play dates that happen spontaneously on the big red couch. And you'll see the first one is about team culture. Staff was its own community. So I learned a lot about team management and making culture where personnel manuals are almost not needed when the culture is set with values alignment, calling in the right people. The middle is about the monthly bunny parties that we used to have, and it was called a bunny party because it started on an Easter, and we had a friend who rescued rabbits, and then we found that people with kids, especially, really loved petting live rabbits, and we are like, actually, at the time, my backyard my partner at the time loved raising rabbits in the backyard. Go figure. And so we just kept bringing these rabbits. And actually, Ruby is my daughter, age 3 to 16, was raised in this store. So part of why I made a children's store as my business is it really fit with who I wanted to be at that time. You may recognize later in my story that building your business around your authentic self and your personal dreams is the whole lesson that I learned here and bring everywhere I go. So these are the 3 things I think you need to make the big shift into leaving your paycheck job and earning all your money from your own business. The first piece is knowing that you're worthy, that you are worthy of having the dream life, that the things that you sense in your day to day are not what you want, those are available to you. Those are actual messages that you get to listen to. I'm saying it, you may think that's obvious, but I'm saying it that way because many of us were trained to stay small. Many of us were trained to accept suffering as normal and not to expect too much. And I said earlier, May is the daughter of Chinese immigrants. They came from war and trauma and escaping, and soldiers walking around with guns and hiding in bushes and things like that. So, of course, their love for me said, stay safe, do what they tell you, don't ask questions, don't make waves, and just be whoever they want you to be. And that was painful for me. And that's why it's so important. And I'm so proud of myself for coming out of that mentality, because I realized there was a lot of suffering actually from that life. So, this is why I know that you're worthy, no matter who you are, of living your dream, that who you want to be, what you want your life to be about, is not only available, but it is your birthright. That is what I believe about all humans. Also, your presence has a purpose. Do you know that you came here exactly right? I think often of the way we think babies are so precious and they're just a little blob of goo and they can't hold their pee or poop, and we just want to stare at them and think how cute they are. Guess what? We are still those babies. They were not productive, they were not pleasing you, they were not placating you, and they were worthy of love. So we are still those beings. Also, part of I am worthy is I value my time as precious. If my time here is just for a blip of time, and some of you different ages, it may feel like you have forever, and you do and you don't, and I do and I don't also. But the more years I'm here, the more I realize I don't have time to wait for a permission slip or someone to open the door for me. I am going because I want it. And all the ways people said, don't worry, wait, your turn will come. If you put your time in, they're going to finally see you one day and give you everything you want. I was here long enough to say it's not worth that bargain. So you realize your time is precious. All of this might help you make this decision, whether it's time to make the leap to your own business. So this is my brand, is what I know is that you know inside you, you have an inner knowing. What do you believe about your worthiness? I want you to just tune into, do I believe this? Or is this really crazy for me to think that I would get to not only live a little bit of my dream, but like, no, like everything you want is available. What if I could make a business that gives me all the things that I want? Does that, like, am I triggering you right now? Because I'm willing to be a trigger and I will back it up in a different space. But go ahead and note down in your journals. I asked you to bring a little writing space. What do you believe about your worthiness? What do you want to tell May she's wrong about worthiness? And then I ask, what are the challenges you would need to overcome to fully believe this or really accept this, or whatever it is that comes up in your mind? Because what I know is when I say all the doors are open to you, many people tell me how wrong I am. And it's okay. I'm ready for it. So the important thing is to have the conversation, to be willing to show up to the conversation. So what is in the way of fully embracing your worthiness and living like a person who gets to have everything they want? Second thing that I believe is essential for making a big leap into full-time entrepreneurship from a W-2 job is you got to love that idea. You got to really be in love with what you might create. It doesn't mean that you know the whole thing, but it means that there is something really delicious about it. Because I'm not going to sugarcoat, owning your own small business is not easy. I say it's a spiritual exercise because it is challenging personally to all of the things that the limitations we've been told about ourselves and about what's possible and about money and being good enough. So yeah, it's a spiritual exercise. And if you love it, you're going to be like, hell yes, I'm going again. I'm going anyway. So in this idea, the seed of a business idea, or like I said, some of you have already taken action on this idea, but haven't given it maybe all of the oxygen, sunlight, water to nourish it, to really see what it can be. You got to love the idea and you got to have some excitement about it lining up with your purpose. I said earlier, we are all worthy. We are all here with purpose. We all came exactly right. And that means the thing that you want to create, the thing that you love doing, maybe it's music, maybe it's writing, maybe it is seeing like a light bulb go off in a person's mind when they think about their capacity to create what they want. That's mine. Maybe that is your sense of your purpose. Another piece of loving your idea is being excited to offer your services in mutual exchange. What am I saying? I mean that you are willing to say, I have a thing for sale, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid for you to say yes, and I'm not afraid for you to say no. And it costs a certain dollar amount. And I feel completely aligned with saying this thing is not only worth this much, it's worth even more, but this is a bargain for you. I'm willing to offer my services for a mutual exchange because I know how good this thing is that I'm offering. And I know that any price I put on it is a good deal. And I'm saying that because what I do is know that if you are clear about your purpose and greatness, you get to charge accordingly. So you can breathe financially. This is what it takes. The people who have made it hard on themselves are the people who were not willing to offer their services in mutual exchange. They were like, I mean, they're not going to buy it unless it's a deal. So I guess I gotta blah, blah, blah. No, you gotta love your idea enough to stick to it. You gotta persevere when one person says, no, that's not for me. You gotta love yourself enough to know that it's their loss, not yours, because there are plenty of people who want what you are offering. And right into, I'm excited to commit to my idea. I'm willing to go and go and go again. And what I know, again, the one who perseveres, the one who has the resilience internally to stay clear, to not be moved. You can adjust, you can learn, you can iterate, but the core commitment, you are not going to be talked out of because you love your idea. All right, intuition moment. What do you think? How much do I love my business idea? Do I love it enough to make a commitment to myself? Do you see how everything I'm talking about is about you and you? This is what is most required, is the meeting between you and you. Write a little bit down. Do I love my business idea enough to make a commitment to myself? Maybe there's yes, maybe there's no. Write those things down. Maybe there's like yes, but. Go ahead and write those. And then it's just part of the list to speak to. But what I know about making this list is it's not infinite. It's not unknowable. It's not ethereal. We can get very concrete, and then it's just, okay, here's the list of what you'd have to do. Yes or no? That's what your business is asking you to do. Look at that. All right, number 3 is I bet on myself. This one is about depending financially on your own business instead of depending on that steady paycheck that you have been getting for however many years, and betting on yourself that you can replace that money, but also the cost you've been paying in not delight in that job. I want you to count that as a cost too. So betting on yourself means investing. I mean, literally, like, I'm going to put this chunk of dollars down on me starting a business, because most people needs some initial investment, either of material stuff to get the machine going, and also to cover the runway, the leading up to profitable time. Most people aren't profitable on day 0, day 1, the day they open their store door. It's not usually a river of money that comes in as soon as you start. So you're going to need to believe in yourself enough to put some money down on yourself. So why is that safe? One, if you hear that and say, that's crazy, I would never do that, you have an answer right now. That's data. That's good data to know. And, but here, I'm going to tell you why I think it's safe to bet on yourself. If these are true for you, if these ring true for you, I think you might be a great candidate. for making the leap. So I am resourceful. Not only do I know have some idea of I love what I offer, what my business will look like. When everything doesn't work out, I'm going to be okay too. So, you get to think about, this is a thought exercise again in the meeting between you and you. I heard this exercise as the so what exercise. But what if this happens? But what if, and then you get to say, okay, that might happen. Is it likely? Probably not. But what if it does happen? What would you do? Well, then I might have to, okay. But then what if this happens? Okay, you can just ask yourself the so what questions and just get down to the thought exercise of, I'm going to be okay. I think a lot of people go right to impoverishment and homelessness. Some people have a alone living with cats scenario, eating cat food. I've heard these kinds of things too. I mean, it's sort of funny, and of course it's not, but I will say most people I have actually talked to, I'm like, you really you really don't have people that could help you out in a jam. And side note, the flip side is when you're your own boss, you get to be the person that helps other people out in a jam. That is pretty powerful. So I'm resourceful. I have people, friends I can rely on. Okay, I went down the dark road of the what if everything falls down, worst case scenario. But let's also talk about who's going to buy this product I'm offering. You are resourceful. You have people. You have ideas of where to find those people. And actually, you know people who can find those people. Maybe you don't know those people, but there is quite a lot available as a human on Earth. You don't need technology. You don't need a lot of stuff for a lot of businesses. My favorite businesses are low overhead businesses, although I do love brick and mortar. But you have pretty much, people like to complicate the marketing machine. You have everything you need. All right, next point. I can generate the cash as I need it. The cash I need as I need it. Goes along with resourceful. There are people who will help you out, just favor land. But also, I'm betting you know how to make some money. If you really dig about like even just like what's hanging around in your house, I think this is a really fun exercise when people are like overly focused on just like one thing that feels like it's not working. The exercise of like, all right, open it up. We're just generating cash flow now. There's like ideal core offer work, and there's also like I need to cover the bills right now. What I've seen, people surprise themselves. They say, no, 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 I don't have it. I can't think of anything else. And then when they get over all of those mind barriers, they'll say, oh, well, actually, and I'm like, wait for it, here it comes. So I'm telling you what I've seen, and I don't know what this is for you, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. And it's part of why I also love entrepreneurship, because it has you, my friend says, pulling rabbits out of hats. And the more you feel that sort of power in you, you can be the person who, pardon my French, gives no fucks, and you just try things. You feel like, I got me. I get to try this and I'm going to be okay. I get to maybe reach a little farther than I've ever reached before. Maybe I'm going to say yes to something that I'm not totally sure I can absolutely nail, but guess what? It feels so good to nail that thing. It feels so good to feel your full potential. And always, full makes it sound like it's finite. I'm saying to always reach the edge and to reach past it and to still be standing at the end of that and go, hell yeah, I did that. So that's what I love, the spiritual exercise of entrepreneurship. You bet on yourself and you pull rabbits out of hats. I bet on myself again, putting money and really belief. This one is not just money, but belief also. It's safe to invest in whatever support I need to get where I want to go. There is a lot of people wanting to help people making small businesses, me included, but I am in a pool full of humans who are like, I help these kind of people and I help these kind of people. And I love the image of crowd surfing where like you can rely on the community to get you exactly what you need, because when all of us are living our special, weird, perfect medicine lives, there's the medicine you need is out there. So the help is available and it is safe to invest dollars, time, belief, and risk asking for help to get what you need. All right, here's that question again. What is your intuition telling you? What do you think about what I just said? Is it safe to bet on yourself? Have you ever pulled a rabbit out of a hat? Have you ever felt like, oh my gosh, look what happened? Have you ever, oh my gosh, somebody just told me a story of finding $500 in a cab. Actually, this was who was it? Delight, the person who grooves in the heart. Took that $500 they found in a cab and bought some mixer thing and sampled everyone else's music and made a song. I mean, things like this happen to you. So happen to people, and it can happen to you. How willing am I to risk what I have in order to create what I want? Are you willing to bet on yourself? And again, what are the challenges you'd need to overcome to believe this, to do this, to make this happen for yourself? Maybe you're already on what are the challenges to create multiple sources of income that I can generate the cash that I need to have this starting runway. What's in the way? Just make a list. There's just a few. It's not forever and it's not unknowable. Those are my three. I think they're pretty juicy. So now it's up to you. I would love for everyone to end this call being at least super clear if they are willing to take the leap in terms of, I'm going to move toward this business. I'm not going to put it down. So here's the thought. Should I stay on this W-2 career trajectory? Because it isn't just today. Like when you look ahead, you kind of know what the future looks like, right? What does it look like to grow in this place? Does it have available to me the things that even if I don't have it now, is it even down there? Is it really even down the path? Because, the company is set up with a certain kind of, I feel like it's like a, what's that word? Board game. This is how everybody goes. Everybody kind of knows it. So you know it. Does that whole path look good to you? Because if it doesn't, I mean, you can jump to a different W-2 or start building your own business. But please don't stay there. Don't stay there any longer. If you already know, I'm not only not happy today, but there's nothing ahead for me. You're just investing deeper and deeper in something. Not that it's going to be harder to leave, but it might be harder to leave later. So yeah, move on. So, or start building your own business. Here's some good news. Listen to your intuition. Your inner knowing already knows what's right for you. And 2, you get to choose today based on just what you know today. I know I didn't lay out everything you personally need to start your personal business, but I'm telling you, once you are super clear on those 3 things, the business plan stuff works itself out. That's what I've seen in my coaching with clients. It's really fun and really exciting. So the leap begins today, right now. As soon as you decide, your subconscious mind knows how to resource you. I believe that's true. Things can't drop from the sky that were what you maybe wrote down on your list of what's in the way. What are the resources I would need to make this happen? And what I also know is the solutions you'll seek are all available. My point is, the leap is not the day you quit. My point is, the leap is the day you decide. As soon as you decide, it's where you're aiming your compass for your life, you get to go. And I would almost say, you better go, because your body won't be satisfied unless you do. So these are sort of the hard, not hard, difficult, hard skills that you're going to need. You're going to need clarity about the business you'll build to create your dream life. What I don't want you to do is create a business where you're just as bad a boss as the boss that you're leaving. Believe me, that's who I also coach, is people who have the same like overworked, underpaid kind of situation in their own businesses. And that's what I help people untie. So clarity about building the business that will actually get you where you're wanting to go, and not just sort of. I told you earlier about how I was performing store and it was not fun. And then when it started to feel like making my daily experience the experience I wanted, then it really sung and people liked it more and everybody wins. You will need a solid financial plan for covering expenses during startup. I said some of it today is first the self-belief to make this financial plan. But again, they're just numbers. They're just numbers, and you have the ability to make money that you need, and it can flex with what you have available. So that's one thing to know. So I'm trying to remove obstacles in a certain way. That the leap, you will need that, but the leap really is deciding, and then you'll be able to get these things. What I think is so important and so often overlooked is the accountability to persevere, because I don't mean to make it sound like a drag, but there are going to be times when you want to give up, and you are going to need a bunch of people to believe in you, to gas you up, ideally other entrepreneurs who understand the highs and the lows, and people who will cheer you on when you might feel like giving up. People who, you know how you can see other people's greatness easily in those moments? Well, this is what we do for each other. We cover each other, because it's super easy for me to see other people's greatness. So that's got to find those people. So here's what I want to tell you more about the business that I want for every entrepreneur is an authentically aligned business. And I want to tell you a little bit about that, and then we will wrap up this talk. I want you to hear at least a very quick model of the way I think of a successful business. You're doing business the way you want, with the people you want, for the price you want. When I talk about alignment with your authentic self, I find it easiest to talk about your aligned business is the overlap of your joy, your story, and your vision. I love doing this. This is a problem that I feel very passionate about because it aligns with my story and my vision for what I wish the world looked like. That's what I'm offering. That's in my offer. All of this, the overlap, makes a business that is not only profitable, but it will feel in a certain way easy. So as our own bosses, we have an opportunity to build a world where our whole selves are welcome. I'm talking about the domain of your business. You get to say, these are my rules. You don't get to come in unless you come correct. This is who's coming in, and at this price. And I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but your time and energy is precious. So for the people who come in, it's a great party. And your magic gets to go where it is most appreciated and most effective, and gets to take people the farthest. I have clients that I've said, like, you just give them a little tap and they just like go. That's who gets to come in to this world. And that gets to be like, who doesn't look forward to spending time with those kind of people who are like, know what you're about, and they're like, yes, yes, yes. That's a non-draining workday. So that's the world we get to build. But I also believe that this business world is just a ripple of concentric circles that gets to ripple out into our community, because when people win-win in here, they leave your world happier, more fulfilled people, and happy people make more happy ripples. So I think we're kind of like creating world peace right here. When we are free to live as our authentic self, a mental and emotional burden is lifted and our energy becomes limitless because we are getting the life we want. That freedom creates space for peace, joy, and generosity that customers and collaborators are drawn to and want to work with you again and again. Here's the little gift that I found that's like, wouldn't it be great if your business days just felt like, this is an easy cadence, it's pretty fun, and my numbers are growing and growing. So here's the question: how committed are you to solving what's in the way of creating your aligned business? Take a moment to score yourself 1 to 10. And I invite you, even right now, as soon as our call ends, take action towards solving what's in the way. Hold on to that list that you made and really know that you can solve every one of them. And even you might find out that when you solve one of them, several are solved. It's pretty fun. All right. That's my teachy talk. I have free business offerings that you can QR scan for a quick chat. I have free 30-minute coaching sessions and 15-minute quick chats. Ask me about anything. And of course, email. I love Instagram. So DM me on Instagram. We can connect. Paid offerings, 6-month, 12-month, 1 day. I have a local integration group membership in Oakland for $99 a month. There's a group of fabulous business owners that gather monthly for a retreat day once a month. And we're all on a daily Voxer coaching thread. I wanted to tell you about a leap day bonus. One problem deep dive, regular price $24.88. It's a 5-hour strategy day. And just through this week, $600 off to 1888. It's actually my old price, but extending it to you guys for being part of this. That's me, Mae Chan Business Alignment Coach. I'm going to stop the recording now and